So another thing we're really interested in is over time, how these things are talked about over time. So here what we're looking at is over the first 3 quarters of the year, going back to January 1, the sort of both the text conversation behavior and blog text as well as the linking behavior. So here what we have, the red is kind of a composite index score of the link behavior. So how much are people linking to all of these websites that we determine to be relevant? And then how much are people using all these words and phrases that are in our list of text markers? So this is kind of designed to capture the overall volume of discussion about this issue over time. And what we see is the energy is much more stable. It's been kind of a relatively stable amount of discussion, kind of goes up and down. The link behavior is more volatile than the discussion behavior, often because what happens is people will roll, the White House or others will roll out a campaign, and there'll be a bunch of new .orgs and a bunch of new websites to link to, and all the bloggers go link to that stuff for a week, and then they'll stop. But they continue talking at the same level in their posts about things. But the main contrast here is if you look at the healthcare policy, it is just how much it hit starting in June and ramped up over the summer. So not much volatility in the energy policy discussion, but the healthcare policy kind of cooked along and then just took off over the summer with all the shenanigans and all the stuff. And there are actually some key moments here. So you get some of these link spikes when Obama rolled out the healthcare policy stuff back in March. The House started hearings on energy policy in March. You get a spike in link behavior because a lot of people are now rolling out new websites you can link to and new content about the stuff. The Senate started their hearings there in July, and you get a little bit of a peek in the discussion. So a lot of times you can see kind of external political events being reflected here. So the Obama town halls started and kind of kicked off some of the increase, and then the Republican sort of town hall craziness kicked in, and really that boosted all the blogosphere chatter way up. We also break out this stuff. These are not as pretty, I'm sorry, but we break out the stuff by cluster. So how are these discussions happening across different clusters? So how are the environmentalists linking and talking about stuff versus politicized clusters, et cetera? And the big sort of trends here that stand out, and we want to dig in and look more, but on this one we sort of see a handoff. By the way, this light blue is the behavior of everybody outside this map of about 6,000 high relevance blogs. So that's kind of the general public, maybe. But what you see is kind of a handoff where as the environmentalists ramp up talking about energy policy, and they're really going, dominating the chatter about it or chattering much more than others, the general public interest kind of dies down. And we see an interesting similarity to the healthcare policy. Not so much, what's interesting with the conversation, how much people are talking about the healthcare issues in their text, is in the general public or the public outside of the map, it stays pretty much even. I mean, it trends a little bit up in the third quarter. But what happens is everybody else goes haywire in the third quarter. So this blogosphere around the issue really takes on the issue and it ramps up. And outside of this group, it stays more or less the same level. But if you look at the link behavior, and this is what's really, thus far a mystery, but raises an interesting hypothesis, is that as the rest of this politicized blogosphere component ramps up their chatter about it, the issue, and their linking, theirs dies down. The general public dies down. They stop linking to anything relevant. Done? Okay, I'm almost done. So why would the general public just stop linking to all the issue-relevant websites as it takes over the sort of media discussion? And it does remind me a little bit of the hypothesis about negative advertising driving down voting, that it may be that the more we saturate blogs and cable news and the general media sphere with these kind of vituperative, back-and-forth, hyper-partisan messages, we actually turn off the general public. I mean, they just stop linking to all the NGOs, and they stop linking to all the websites that are relevant to the issue. They were linking to it before, and then they're not. So it's actually a kind of interesting hypothesis going forward that all of this chatter, including the blogosphere, which is supposed to in some sense represent more involvement from the general population, actually turns off a large segment of the general population when it kind of saturates the overall media environment. So this is just a website you can go to if you haven't seen it already, shiftingthedebate.com, which shows a little bit how we kind of take these metrics and put them into widgets. This shows you YouTube videos in political space over time. So it's a kind of interesting way to watch as the blogosphere's attention to political videos kind of bubbles up and down. And that's it. Thank you.